welcome back to another episode of the Jewish Women Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm very excited about this episode today because I'm actually doing my special birthday episode. So the first time I did was last year. Actually, the podcast is almost a year and a half now. We're also celebrating two things actually with the podcast. One is that we reached the mark of 500 downloads, which is pretty amazing, knowing that we're not doing any promotion. So this is only organic, and this is only people that are interested in what we're saying and what we're sharing and the interviews that we're having. So I want to thank you for being a listener to the podcast. And the other thing that we're celebrating is that we've been featured in the Jerusalem Post, actually, on the list of Israeli English-speaking podcasts talking about Jewish topics. So I've been really proud of this, and I promoted on Facebook and on LinkedIn the link to the article. And so if you want to check it out, you can definitely see on my page and see how our podcast, the Jewish Women Entrepreneurs Podcast, has been featured in the Jerusalem Post of, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. So that being said, another thing happened in the last few weeks is that I turned 50. Yes, 50 years old. I know I have to repeat it to myself as well because, well, you know it's happening, right? You know that your birthday is happening. You know that the date is getting closer, but there's actually some kind of momentum around the birthday that makes you understand things, have insights, ask questions, look at life differently. I wasn't prepared for this. I thought that I was all ready to celebrate my 50 years old, birthday with my friends. And then it hit me. It hit me 2 months before the birthday, actually, where I was actually really taken aback by this whole existential question, which turned out to be kind of a burnout. If you are familiar with the word, you know what I mean by that. And then it pushed me. It pushed me in asking questions and looking for more alignment in my life, in my business. And that's why I wanted to share with you today what I've discovered, because I've been doing a lot of research, and I think that I'm not the only one going through those crises, whether it's because you're turning 50 or whether it's because you don't feel in alignment, or whether it's because you're asking yourself questions in your business, in your life, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a Jewish person. There are so many reasons to ask questions and to look for alignment. And so I decided to share with you my findings actually on what is alignment, why are we scared of alignment, why does it hurt when we're not aligned, how do we recognize that we're not aligned, what are the signs, what are the red flags, and how can we realign ourselves, what are the tools and the techniques and the strategies that we can use to realign ourselves. I'm still in the process of it, so I'm not talking like I understand it all and I got it all figured out. Not at all. I'm still in the process. I'm enjoying the process, which is new because I usually like to get to solutions and like to get to answers. And now I'm learning to stay with the questions, and I'm learning to really look at it from a deeper perspective. And this is a process that is new to me. And maybe it's because I'm getting older and wiser. I don't know. But I figured that everyone can use a more insight on what does it mean to be aligned, what does it mean to be misaligned, what does it mean to realign. And by sharing all this with you, I hope that if you feel that you have some of the signs that are coming up for you, then you will be able to take them soon and to be able to observe them and to recognize them and to say, oh, okay, I understand. This is me not being aligned. What can I do to realign myself? Because sometimes it's not easy to translate what we feel into, okay, this is an alignment issue. So before I jump into what is alignment and, how do we deal with misalignment, I want to tell you what I've done in the last 2 months to realign myself. When I saw that I was burning out, and when I saw that I was getting too tired, too overwhelmed, that things were, not in the flow, that I was hustling a lot. And even though I loved, and I still love what I'm doing, I felt like I wasn't at the right place and something was not working. Something was missing. Something was something was not at the right place, right? And so instead of jumping to changes and answers and new strategies, I decided to wait. I decided to wait. And this is the first insight that I have here, is that we are very often jumping to solutions. We're very often saying, oh, if it's in our business, we need to change the strategy. We need to change the marketing. We need to change our target market. We need to come up with a different offering, another campaign, which is sometimes true. Sometimes we need to do that. And sometimes when it feels deeper, when it feels that the misalignment is not only in the tactic or in the strategies that we're using, but on a more deeper level, then this is really an invitation to really look inside. And, I read somewhere that, the universe in the beginning is sending you a whisper, right? In the beginning, it's an intuition. It's a small voice that you hear, sometimes like not clear. Then it becomes a nudge, right? That you hear more often, and the ideas come more, on a more frequently, and then it's about how you journal. It's about what you speak about and the questions you ask yourself. And then from a whisper to a nudge, it becomes a punch in the face. And that's why for me it's very important to record this episode, because before it becomes a punch in the face, if you can catch it before, sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's no other way. You have to get the punch in the face, and it's for a good reason, because it's hard to listen to the whisper. It's hard to listen to the nudge, because you're always like, yeah, I'm not going to make all those changes now. That's okay. I'll do that later. Or maybe it's not possible, or who I am anyway, or all those things that we're just like disregarding, those intuitions, those voices that are telling us, no, but I think I should go this direction, or I think I'm not in the right direction, or I feel like I want to do this. And we're going to talk about why we're scared from this voice, and why we're sometimes pushing back, and why, this is not something that we do naturally. But when I felt that this voice was getting louder and louder, and I started to see the signs that we're going to talk about later, what I'll tell you what the signs are that you are not aligned. I started seeing health problems. I started seeing issues in my relationships. I started seeing that I was tired all the time. But things were not in the flow, right? And I know what flow feels like. And I know what, being in the right momentum, and I know what doors opening feels like. And when it doesn't feel like that, I have my red flag saying, something's not working. So when I saw that it wasn't working, I started slowing down in my business and my life, which was very new to me, because I'm usually very busy and I do a lot of things and I have a lot of energy. But here I didn't have the choice. I was physically tired, and I just had to slow down, to let things happen, and to really see, like, what do I really want to do? And then I started observing more than doing. And then I did something that I'm so happy I did. And if you have the opportunity to do it, I really, really suggest you do it. And birthdays are a great excuse to do it. Is that I went on a journey to ask all my friends, whether they're old friends, new friends, family members, people that love me, people that know me. And when you're 50 years old, you have quite a lot. I went and asked them. I told them I wanted to interview them. This was like the title of my excuse, that I wanted to speak to them. And I actually told them, I'm kind of asking myself, where is my journey going? I've been on a journey. You're on a journey. You have kids. You work. You go to college. You do everything that you have to do. But at some point, you wake up and you're like, okay, where's this going? Who am I? And I told them, all those friends, that I thought that they knew me from a certain part of my life, and that they were like a mirror, that they could reflect a part of who I am, and that I wanted to hear their feedback on what they saw in me, so that I can put the puzzle of my life back together, and I could take, different pieces of different people and say, oh, so this is who I was at this time, and this is who I am now. And so I did, I think, close to 20 interviews. I went, traveled to France, where I saw old friends, family members, relatives. Traveled to New York, where I also saw friends and people that I knew there. And here in Israel, of course, where I live, I celebrated my birthday. And together with my daughter, actually, she helped me collect all those interviews and all those feedbacks. And we put together the puzzle of my life and of who I am. And it was really surprising, because The words that people were using or the feedback that people were using were not all the same, first of all. So it was really interesting to see how people had a different perspective of me depending on how and where they knew me from. And also, it wasn't the same. I think I had like two words or two feedback that were the same, but everything else was different. Everyone had a different perspective. And it helped me to see that, how people saw me and who I was throughout the years and from people's perspective was very different than what I saw that what I thought that I was. And that was an insight that told me, okay, so first of all, there's more to you than you know. And also, there's a perspective that you're missing. And so there's something inside of you and inside of me that is actually screaming so loud that people are seeing it from the outside, but maybe you're not seeing it. And I think that's the definition of alignment. The definition of alignment is what seems so obvious to everyone that you sometimes still have to look for. Maybe sometimes you found it and you're aligned and it's perfect, but sometimes what other people see, it takes you quite a long time. For you, it's obvious. Everyone is obvious, but we're not necessarily aligning with this. So this was my journey and realignment. And like I said, I'm still in it. I'm still looking for answers. I'm not rushing. Still, seeing what fits, what doesn't fit. But what I realized was that, I speak a lot about the born to do. I speak about a lot, about this discovery that this process that we want to go on, discovering what is our born to do. And some people believe that you find your born to do once in life, and that's it. You have one chance to do it, and if you missed it, you missed it. And I really don't believe that. I really believe that we have more than one purpose, and that our born to do is evolving with us. As we evolve, as we go on a personal growth journey, as we become different people, our born to do evolves with us. And I think that the realignment is coming every time at a different level because we're reaching different levels, whether it's in our life or our business. And so our born to do is evolving with us. And it's scary. I won't say it's not scary because we don't like changes. We don't like to move things. We've worked so hard to reach where we are. And so when we start getting those questions or those whispers, we're like, oh no, let's push it on the way. Let's just focus on what we're doing and follow the plan. And we have a plan and we know where we're going. But then, like I said, the whisper and the nudge becomes a punch in the face, and then you don't have the choice. And so let's start by talking about what is alignment. And what is alignment in business? Like, how can you apply alignment with business? And also, what are the signs that you can identify in yourself, in your journey, that you're not in alignment? And I think that this could be the red flags that you say, okay, this is where I have to ask myself questions. So first of all, alignment, it started by being a technical meaning of things that are, on the same line. And that's not how we're using the term, of course, because it's really, I'm sure you've heard about this word. This word is started to be trendy a few years ago. More and more people in the personal development industry starting to use it. And it really is connected to how to reach a level of fulfillment and of joy in your life and in your business, so that everything you do feels that is in the right place. And that is something that I didn't know. I didn't have that word when I started looking for the born to do. I didn't know what alignment was. And I think a lot of us didn't know what alignment was. And now it feels like it's the only word that I can use to express that, place that is connected, whether it's connecting our mind with our heart, with our soul, or whether it's connecting us, to be grounded at the right place, or whether it's connecting us, what we do and who we are. There's so many ways to align ourselves, whether it's horizontal or vertical, and it feels like it's the word that really expresses when we feel it's right. There's no other way to say it. We just feel this is right. What I'm doing feels right, or what I'm saying, or who I'm being, or the people that I'm with, or the business that I'm in. And it's because it's so difficult to define that we have a hard time seeing when we're not aligned. That's the trick, right? Because it's not like you can really take a measurement and say, oh, I'm aligned 80%. No one is going to tell you that. And in business, alignment takes a form of, I speak a lot about your niche, because when you're aligned with your niche, that means that you're going to love working with the people that you're working with. You're going to love serving them. You're going to love your clients. You're going to love what you offer them. You're going to be aligned with everything you do, whether it's your services, the people you work with, your offering, your prices, your business model. And I'm sure you saw that when you were aligned, which means you were really working with the right people, having the right price, talking, having the right offer, things just happen naturally, organically. Doors open, people say yes, people are attracted, right? So this is the energy we're looking for. And in the business, we can see it where doors are closing, or people are saying no, or your way of communicating doesn't come across, or people don't listen to what you're saying, or when you're working really hard and there's no results, right? So when you're overwhelmed all the time. So we're going to talk about the signs, but really finding alignment in business is really, you can see results very, very fast. You can see when you're aligned and when you're not aligned, because it really is clear, that things are working or things are not working. So some of the signs that can tell you that you're in alignment or not is if you don't feel motivated, right? If you get up in the morning and you don't have motivation, you just don't feel like doing it. You lose the purpose of it. Like what's the whole, what's the whole meaning behind this? Why am I doing this anyway? When you start having those questions, it means that you're not aligned with your purpose. You're not aligned with what you're doing. And when you keep on procrastinating and postponing something that you need to do, or when you feel like doors are not opening, that you don't have momentum, that you're hustling, you're working too hard, you don't feel at the right place. You feel like the hamster on the wheel, always running, and not feeling fulfilled by what you're doing. Again, it's difficult to describe, but I'm sure that what I'm saying resonates with you. And it's not if it happened once, okay? If you procrastinated once, we all procrastinate, or if you didn't have motivation one morning, it happens to all of us. It's when it's recurring, when you feel that everything is like closing up on you, and that there is no sense of fulfillment or meaning or even joy no, there's nothing. Like doors are closing, right? You have sales calls that are not working. Your clients don't give you good feedback. There's so many things that could happen in a business that you feel it's not just one incident. It's a collection of things that you feel, okay, I can change my prices. I can change my offer. I can do different things. I can change my strategy. I can change a lot of things. But there is something more underlying here that is not working, that I need to go deeper. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the things that we can solve by changing a strategy or an offer or your ideal client profile, right? It's after you've done all this and it still doesn't feel right, and it's still something is not sitting right. Now, people think when we speak about alignment that it's a nice to have. Yeah, of course I would love to be aligned, but listen, I got to pay the bills, right? I got to work. I got to get the clients working. And it doesn't matter if I'm not aligned. Now, I cannot afford to look at my alignment right now, right? And so people think it's a nice to have, but I've seen with my clients and with myself that it's actually not a nice to have. It's a must. And because the consequences that could happen if you're not aligned, especially if you're someone like me, for whom the purpose is really essential, for whom meaning is essential, for that you cannot get up in the morning and do something if you don't believe in it, if there's no meaning behind it. And so what I saw myself and on my clients is that when you're not aligned, you can have really serious problems coming from this. You can have sleeping problems, that you cannot fall asleep, or you don't sleep enough, eating disorders, right? You can start not eating properly, not eating healthy, eating junk food all the time, not having a social life because you're like removing yourself from your friends and from people that you used to spend time with. All of a sudden you're not motivated, so you're just pushing away people. You don't have any hobbies. That's also a big sign. If you're only working all the time and there's no other source of joy or of getting fulfillment from, that's also a big red light, because it means that you're working so hard, but you're not getting the fulfillment. When you see that you're not taking care of yourself, what self-care is the last thing that you do on the list. When you see that you have health issues, but not, the flu here or, pain here. No, it's when things are recurring and like one thing after the other. I know for myself, I think it's been since last January. And I think this was maybe the whisper or the nudge, I'm not sure, of the universe. But I've had just, health issue after health issue, and every time a small thing and another small thing, and allergies and my back and my shoulder and the flu, and then at some point you're like, okay, things are recurring here. I keep on getting sick all the time. Yes, we had COVID. Yes, there's always a good reason, right? The season is changing, of course. But I was like, okay, this is telling me something else. This is telling me like I'm not on my 100% feeling my strength, my energy. This is telling me something else. I want you to be aware and pay attention to that little voice that tells you this is telling me something else, right? When your body is telling you things, when your friends are telling you things, when your lack of hobby or your lack of time is telling you things, when you have those red flags that are, there is something more here, right? And then there's also when you start having resentment, okay? Because you're not feeling fulfilled, you don't have joy in what you do. And so you start resenting your clients, resenting your business, resenting everything. And you cannot have abundance and money and more clients when you are in this energy level. Now, when you are in alignment, and this is what I love about alignment, which is why I'm saying it's not a nice to have, it's a must. Then it's the opposite, right? You get up in the morning and you're happy. You have this flow of energy. You have this flow of positive feelings that you want to share. You're in a state of flow and harmony. You feel the momentum. Doors are opening. You meet the right people. You have synchronicities. All of a sudden, it's the right opportunity, exactly the person you need to meet exactly at that time to open up doors and to have an opportunity. You're at the right place at the right time, and you feel like you're exactly where you need to be, and you know inside yourself that everything is going to be all right. You don't have control over everything, but you have that faith in you that everything is going to be all right. Now, if this is how you feel now, then congratulations, you're aligned, and that's great. Enjoy it. But if you feel like, no, this is not resonating, I'm not feeling like that, there's something missing, then my invitation with this episode is to, after you've answered all the more technical, over the surface questions, that you go deeper and that you ask yourself, is something not aligned in what I'm doing or who I'm being? Okay, but now you're going to tell me, if this is so obvious that alignment is so great and misalignment it could be so dangerous, how come not everybody is doing it? Well, the thing is that alignment is scary because, like we said in the beginning, it means that you're going to have to make a change. It means that you're going to have to ask questions, and you're going to have to listen to the answers, and you're going to have to be aware when something is not aligned and decide whether you make a change or not. Now, of course, on paper, it makes sense if I tell you, well, listen, if you make this change, you will be happy on the flow and, momentum and good energy and abundance. It makes sense on paper, but you have to make the leap of faith. You have to jump. And that jump is getting out of our comfort zone, right? Because our comfort zone is to stay where we are. We've built the business, we've built that relationship, we've done things for a long time the same way. And now we've evolved, and now it's time to change, but it's scary. What if I change and things don't happen? And what if I make a mistake? And what if I'm not right? And what if? So the reason why we don't look inside sooner, or the reason why sometimes we wait until the universe is like, punching us in the face to get to realize that we need to move, is because it's scary, because it means facing our true self. And sometimes we're afraid of what we're going to see, right? We're also more afraid to fail when we know it's going to be our want to do or our purpose of what we're aligned with. Because if we fail at something where we're not aligned with, then that's okay. We go next. But if we fail at the thing, right? So I'm going to take an example with my book. I've been talking about my book for years. Everyone is like, when are you going to, finally, come out with this book already? You talk about it all the time. But this is my fear of failing at the one thing that I have invested so much in, or I am investing so much in. And so if I fail everywhere else, okay, fine. But if I fail in my book, with my book, then that's a big, because I made such a big deal out of it and it's so aligned with me, right? So it's very scary. So one of the things that I know I need to do to realign myself is definitely get really serious with the writing of my book and have really a deadline. And I'm using this podcast to have additional accountability, because my whole book is here. It's already in my heart, it's in my head, it's all here. It's just needs to be on paper, right? But it's scary. It's scary because then people are going to see what I have in my heart and in my head, and then I'm afraid, right? And so we all have those projects that are so aligned with us, but they say so much about us that we're afraid that we're going to, if we fail, then it's going to be a big deal, right? Now, we think that when we make a choice, whether it's a business, or who we sell to, or what we offer, or relationship, or who we are in our life, or whatever choices we make, we think that we have the choice. And it's actually the title of my book. That's a little spoiler. The title of my book is The Paradox of Choice, because we have the illusion that we make a choice and that we can decide between, A, B, C. But really, there's usually only one choice that's aligned and the rest that's not aligned. And really, if we go with the alignment theory or the alignment principle that we say alignment first, that's my saying all the time, alignment first, whatever I'm doing, alignment first, right? Then we don't really have a choice, because it's only the option that's aligned, that's the real option. And so there is another way to look at it, and not to say, okay, I'm going to use my head and think, okay, the pros and the cons, and this is one solution, this is another, and which one should I go, which one is better? But it's more to surrender to the option of the one that's more aligned. So it's really about looking at alignment as by default, that this is who we want to be. This is what we want to do. Alignment exists already. I just need to surrender to it. I just need to accept that I don't have as much control as I think, because the option that's aligned is already clear. And I just, quote unquote, need to surrender to it. So it's a whole new perspective on life. I want to bring this in one episode, and obviously I'm going to talk a lot about this in my book. So this is what I'm passionate about. This is fascinating to me, how our mind, which is so afraid of changes, is always in a discussion with our gut, which is so connected to our intuition, and our heart, which is so afraid of making a mistake and feeling emotions that are, negative emotions, obviously. And so this whole internal debate or communication or conversation is what's going to bring us to whether we are going to be aligned and successful and in the flow and with the right energy, or whether we're going to feel the signs and we're going to feel the universe nudging us and sending us messages that, maybe you're not where you're supposed to be. Now, I'm going to leave you with one more thought, because there is also the difference between being in alignment and being in harmony. And that's very important, because alignment in itself is very important. As you've seen, the consequences can be really, really big if you're not in alignment. But there is also, how do you put yourself in alignment? Like, is alignment the excuse to be hard on ourselves, or to stop something and to change, radically, or to be, to self-criticize, or to not have self-compassion and to know I need to be aligned? And I know I've been like this with myself. I've been really hard on myself and really this is alignment. I need to go this direction, and to really push myself and to do it in a very, I would say, masculine and very strong power way. And there is also the other way, which is the way that I'm learning now, which is the way of the harmony, which is, yes, being in alignment is important, but the way you become in alignment is as important as being aligned. And this is really putting the emphasis on the harmony between you and yourself. Yes, you will get to alignment, but you want to do it in a harmonious way. You don't want to do it in a pushy, because then you're back to not being in the flow, right? And so I want to leave you with that thought that, I know I gave you a lot of information here, and I could talk about this for hours, but I want to leave you with two thoughts. I want to leave you with the first thought, which is, check yourself if you feel like things are not working the way that they should, and you have this little voice inside of you that's telling you, I'm not in the right place. Then go deeper. Don't be afraid to go deeper, because the reward is as big as the fear. Okay, so that's where you get rewarded for taking that leap of faith and for going outside of your comfort zone. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, even when you're looking for alignment, do it with harmony. Do it in a flow way. Do it with self compassion. Do it with also understanding that it's not easy, that it's something that is a process, that you might not have the answers right away, that you can stay with a question, that even if everything we said here is resonating with you, then there is no, it's not, oh my God, I'm not aligned. What am I going to do? No, it's okay. I'm going to journal more, meditate more, look inside more, ask my friends, be careful, open my eyes, observe more, and I'm going to get the answers. So this is what I'm going through around my 50th birthday. And I hope that this was useful for you and that you will be able to see the signs before they become a punch in the face, and that you'll be able to hear the whisper and, feel the nudge. The universe is here to direct you, slowly, but sometimes a little bit pushy towards the right direction. And the universe is your partner, right? You're together in this. It's not like you don't have to fight with this. So I hope that this was helpful, and I'm enjoying doing those podcast episode where I'm not interviewing people and when it's only you and me, and I can really share with you things that are my most intimate thoughts. And I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to see you in our next episode. And feel free to write your comments or to contact me, because I love getting your feedback and your questions. So if this is resonating with you, I'll be happy to receive an email or a message on social media. Just contact me, and I'll be happy to respond. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Jewish Women Entrepreneurs Podcast. Bye for now.